Hi, my name is Ann Sermons Gillis, and I'm a member of Unity of Charleston. Now, whether you have been a member for a long time or you're exploring membership, I think you'll enjoy learning a little bit more about the lives and passions and interests of our Unity members. So today I'd like to welcome Julia Bigg. Welcome, Julia.
Hi, Anne. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in Jamestown, New York, and I still have a lot of family there, but I did not grow up there. My dad joined the Air Force shortly after I was born. We traveled around a bit, and at the age of 7, I ended up here in Summerville, South Carolina, and I've been here ever since.
So you do live in Somerville?
I do, yes.
Ah,
Yes. Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
At the age
Yep.
of 7. So your father was in service here? He was,
No, actually, he wasn't in service here.
oh, he wasn't.
Yeah, he used to. They would give him a chance to make a list of different places he'd like to be stationed, and he always put Charleston on the list, but never ended up there. So then when he got out of the military, um, he went ahead and said, "Well, let's just move to Charleston. That's where I've been saying I want to go." And he got a job here, and it worked out for us.
Okay. Well, are you married or partnered or singled or widowed?
I was married for a long time, and just within the last year, I'm single for the first time.
Okay. Well, welcome to another side of life.
Thank you.
Do you have any children?
I do. I have my son. He's 23, and he graduated college from Clemson last year, and now he's working in a computer programming job, and he's up in Greenville. I also have a daughter, Allison. She's 21, and she's in Western New York right now, and she's in a transition stage herself, trying to figure out what she's going to be doing next.
Well, yeah, I think that, some people, we're still trying to figure it out.
Right.
40, 50, 60.
Yeah.
So what is your career? What do you do, or what did you do, and what are you doing now?
Yeah, sure. I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, but now I work at we run a calibration lab. So what we do is we calibrate measuring and test equipment for industry. So, for example, some of your aerospace companies are building airplane parts, and they have tools that are measuring whatever you might need measured, anything from a volt, amp, pressure, torque, inches, whatever you need. And we are certifying that it is measuring accurately.
Is that company here local, or are you,
That's right. We're up in North Charleston.
so you work at an office, not remotely?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, changing the subject pretty drastically, how did
Okay.
your spiritual search start?
Yeah, sure. So I think I would have considered myself an atheist for a very long time. Um, Years ago, a friend that I respected and just really admired told me a book that changed her life was The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. And well, really, it was by a psychologist, Howard Cutler, who interviewed the Dalai Lama and then wrote up some information for how a Westerner could interpret what he had to say. And it kind of it planted a seed in my mind, and I kind of held on to those ideas for a long time. It definitely made me think about life differently, but I still didn't have any sort of religious or spiritual belief or background at all.
Oh,
And
when was that? How old were
oh,
you?
I think that was in my early 20s when I read
Okay.
that book.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So, about 5 years ago, I started for getting into a more serious yoga practice, more consistent and serious. And for me, it was always about physical fitness and mental health, mind body connection. And it helped me tremendously. Um, and, I did classes, in real life, actual classes. And I also was involved with some online yoga teachers. And this one in particular, I considered her kind of woo woo, is what I'd say. Um, she talked a lot about like energies and how they're stored in the body and how they move around the body. And she did a lot of work where you take balls and roll on them and work the fascia in your body.
Oh,
And so her theory is that you store uh, not only memories, but feelings, emotions, all kinds of things in your body, and you're helping to release it by doing these exercises. And so by working with her, I just felt so good. Like I don't have any pain. I have tons of energy. I just feel great. Like my posture, I feel good. And so I was working with her for probably about 3 years before one day it just sort of gradually came on that I felt something shifting inside of me. And I really haven't talked about this with anybody because I don't even know how to explain it. But just by um, just by doing these yoga practices, I felt something shift in me to where I began to understand some sort of connection, that some sort of way that we're connected with each other and with everything else in the world. And I have no logical explanation for why that happened, but it was really interesting to me. And kind of went with that for a while, and it just got deeper and deeper. And I started, I remembered that Dalai Lama book, and I started meditating, and just things changed for me. That's all I could say. And I started being interested in that there's something bigger than myself that connects us all and that we're all a part of it. And I started to feel that in a way that I never could understand before. So that's sort of where I am right now. I feel like I am still kind of a spiritual baby because this is all very recent, like in the last year. Um, so I'm just now beginning to understand, and I wanted to connect with other people who have more experience and are kind of following similar paths, and that's why I started looking into Unity.
so that's beautiful, Julia. Really, you said you don't have any really logical explanation, and that is because really the spiritual path is more about the heart than the left brain. I don't think we can logically explain what happens when we remove really the blocks that were keeping us from seeing the oneness. And it sounds like that really helped you remove the blocks. It's a beautiful story. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so
you.
you began searching, and you said you wanted to join with people that were more like-minded. And so then what happened?
Okay, so when I was much younger, I was involved in like a fundamentalist Christian church for a little while, and it was never a good fit for me, but I liked having the community, and I missed that. And I felt, I would really like to have something like that again, but with a totally different mindset, something different. And I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know anybody who was involved in anything like that. I knew about the Unitarian Church. They're pretty far away from me, distance wise. So I just started Googling, and I thought, how am I going to find something like this? And I said, well, maybe if I look up what churches are like LGBT friendly in the area, that would sort of narrow down it somewhat. And that's how I found Unity. So I went and tried out a few different places, and I really wanted to start listening to my inner voice, and I never had been interested or done that in the past. But when I went to Unity, there was that small inner voice telling me, "Yeah, come back here. This is where you want to go." And so I did.
Yeah, that's kind of recently. Let's see.
Mhm.
Time goes fast, but you became a member a few months ago.
Yeah, just very recently. I started. It's been almost a year that I started the first time I came to Unity.
Oh
Mhm.
my goodness. I think I remember when you first came.
Yeah, because you and I came at the same time. I believe we were there at the same time.
So well, no, actually I came a couple of years before, I think.
Oh,
Maybe
did you? Okay.
well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe let's see how long it was, 2020. Well, that doesn't matter.
And
But maybe we were there at the same time. That's
I know
so.
I was thinking this is going to go on YouTube, and so it might be there for a while. So if somebody is watching this years in the future, I might be a totally different person and have a totally different story by then because everything is changing so fast for me. So If you see this and you want to ask me any questions, like come on over, I'm friendly.
You put that in the comments, and I'll be sure that you do
Okay.
that. So, moving along, then you've grown spiritually, you're awakening, you're opening up. And so where did that leave you with your philosophy? What is your philosophy of life?
I think it's pretty simple for me. I think I'm here just to love other people and to be loved by other people, and anything else is just like a bonus. I'm here for love.
Sounds like the golden rule to me.
Yes.
Love is a two-way street, and you can't, love is a light, and you can't really slice it up too much. It's just going to go everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
What are now you mentioned the Dalai Lama's book. Do you have any other books that were special to you, or particular authors that have led you down this path or helped you?
Um, I do read a lot, but I don't read a lot of Unity type books. I will say though,
I
when I
mean,
first,
anything.
yeah, when I first joined up, or when I first started coming here, they were doing a Four Agreements book group, and I joined up on there, and it was a great way to like meet people at the church. So we did the Four Agreements, we did the Fifth Agreement, and then the next book was Help, Thanks, Wow, and Lamont, and I actually led that group.
Ah,
So I enjoyed that a lot. As far as what I'm personally reading, the last book I read was one of David Sedaris's books. I love he writes humorous essays about his family and his life, and he's very like brutally honest, and I like that. I like honesty and authenticity.
like Anne Lamott.
Yes, yes, he is. And I knew you were going to read that question or ask that question. So I was looking over what books have I read over the last year, and I thought I would just share my favorite book I read. And I wrote it down, The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Philyaw.
Ah,
And it is a collection of short stories, and just I think it's a masterpiece. It was a beautiful book. I highly recommend it. It's not a church type book.
right. Well,
Right,
you can't, like I say, you can't divide the light up.
right.
It shines through fiction. It shines through all things. Did you have any other ones I noticed you were looking over?
Um, I'm also reading the Outlander series. It's a time traveling historical.
Big, big books.
Yes, yes. I
Big,
started I started those probably almost 20 years ago, and now they've got a TV series about them and everything.
right. And I love time travel. I like
Okay.
the expansiveness. To me, it's part of the magic. What about your passions or hobbies? Do you have any particular passions or hobbies?
Yeah, sure. I think the one most people like to hear about is I started the idea of hiking the entire Palmetto Trail. And if you don't know what that is,
I
it's
don't.
it starts in Ondahl, it crosses all the way across the state, on up to the Blue Ridge Mountains. So I've been hiking that little section at a time when I have the time. And starting in Ondahl, I'm up to Columbia now. So it's over 200 miles. And since I go by myself most of the time, I have to track back. So technically, it's been like 400 miles.
What? You mean you go and then you bring your car up to where you are? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I make little day hikes out of it. Um, so yeah, I like hiking, kayaking. I love being outdoors in nature. Um, I like dancing. I do dance classes at the Y, and
Oh,
yeah, I also spend a lot of time with my dog. I'm living alone for the first time ever right now, so my dog is my companion right now. And I guess you call him a hobby as well.
oh yeah. That is that is great. Well, you've mentioned yoga. Do you still practice yoga?
I do, yes. Yep.
And do you have any other?
Every day.
And
Hmm?
did you say meditation? Did you say meditation as a practice
Yeah.
that you have?
Yes, I yoga and meditation.
Do you have any other spiritual practices that you practice,
Mm,
like any kind of mind changing ideas that you have?
I don't think so. I think I try to practice mindfulness, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't have any other particular practices now.
Well, mindfulness is a big practice.
Okay.
Yeah, it really
I actually can integrate my dog into that one because he will live absolutely 100% in the moment, and I look at him and it reminds me, take this all in, just be here, be one with the environment that's around me, just like he does. And so that's what I've been doing.
that makes me. I took a deep breath when you said that because I feel that we
Mm,
want to be in the moment, and often our mind leads us astray. So,
yes.
in kind of completing this, do you have any last moment or last minute advice or just thought that you'd like to end with?
Well, I'd say if you're watching this because maybe you're interested in seeing what Unity is all about, I would say come on. Everybody's been extremely welcoming and kind to me, and you know, you're welcome to have questions or have different opinions. And that is one thing that I gave me the idea that I knew I was in the right place because one of the first services I attended, they had a panel discussion of Reverend Ed, Sarah Scott, and James, and they were talking about what they consider to be their personal religion or spirituality. And you had three different answers, and they were three wildly different answers. And when I heard that, I was like, I knew that was a good place for me to be, where what I was experiencing would be acceptable. So I would say, come on in. You're welcome to anybody that's interested.
Come on down. It doesn't matter what
Yes.
you believe, you're accepted and appreciated and invited.
Yes.
So, Julia, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
And thank you for asking and interviewing me. I appreciate it too.